the go live button. Good evening, everyone. How are you? My name is Michael Gibson. I'm the creator of Norm Therapy and the CEO of Norm Therapy Incorporated. I'm also the co-founder or founder of Abuse Refuge Org, which is Abuse Refuge Inc., our 501c3 public charity, IRS approved nonprofit. We do take donations over there, so if it's something that you feel compelled to do, please do it. Every penny helps. We actually are set up to where as Norm Therapy, the company undergirds the nonprofit and provides the services, the products, and the expertise for what the nonprofit need to do in order to service the people. Once we complete funding of Norm Therapy Inc., we will be moving into a whole different mode where we will actually begin to pay salaries and all of those things to people who are on staff. And we will allow them to, as a part of their occupation with our organization and their job with us, we will allow them to come over to the nonprofit side and volunteer, well, of course, with pay. We will actually pay them a portion of their salary so they can continue to volunteer for the nonprofit as pretty much a mandate if you're going to be on board at our corporation. We think it's always good to give away at least 10% of whatever we do to the nonprofit to include free slots for people who are in need of therapy and or assistance worldwide. This was what we plan to keep as our business model from that day forward. Absolutely, Norm Therapy is necessary. Sometimes you don't even know it's working until it does. If you've not been familiar with how to defend yourself your entire life, or maybe your entire marriage, or even your friendship with someone, if you've not been familiar with how to defend yourself, how to stand up for yourself, how to be heard and understood, if you've never done that before, how is it that you think you're going to do it well on your own? Most people don't. And they go through life and in marriage and in situations and jobs with the same attitude that they brought from the last place that they visited or the last person in which they were in a relationship. They bring those same old and bad habits with them. And they wonder why each relationship that they have failed. Business, personal, intimate, it doesn't matter. It just fails. And until people take new information and use it, whether they like it or not, the minute they start using something different and yielding results, then we have something. And most people can't see the forest for the trees right in front of their faces. And it's not because they're dumb or stupid. It's never about that. And even though people who see them not getting it will think that they're just dumb or stupid. No, they've just been conditioned to work against themselves probably over a long period of time, or in varying degrees of situations in their lives, and a variety of situations that they can't even see different than that. That happens. Sometimes when you, especially Montez and Bobby, they have been struggling on their own, all by themselves before they met. They had been fighting the systems, fighting people around them, fighting relationships, fighting, to get ahead, fighting to do better, and individually. And once they got together, they started to fight together to go forward and using whatever they could bring to the table and just to get ahead and move forward and do better in life. But you still have to then equip yourself with a certain amount of new information, new strategies, new opportunities in order to see that forward. Bobby was telling me earlier that she just got another moniker at the end of her name, some acronym or some four-letter phrase, depicting that she had just, added another skill set to her repertoire of skills. And I think that that's fantastic. I mean, now she has 3 or 4 different comma this, I'm that, and comma that, I'm this, and comma that. I'm an NTISL3. All of these things she can now say that she actually accomplished. It's different from a couple of years ago. So at the end of the day, what we look for in life, everyone, in order to find happiness or more to come there is you'll have your ups, you'll have your downs, and you will have some way downs. But you also will have progress. And sometimes you have to fight your way through in order to get to the progress. So with that being said, and that, I guess, that preparatory statement, I'll ask Montez to come in and join us. Hey, Montez, how are you today?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. See you sitting by the window today. It's nice and sunny outside.
No, well, it was early and then it rained. When it was out, I had my dogs out playing ball, but then it rained, came and cleaned up real good, and then I just been by this window. This is where my peace is at, man. When it's peaceful,
Great. You just go sit by the window and chill. And every
by
now
the
and then
window,
take.
or I got my garage. I got a leather section in my garage and a TV and a end table. I hooked up like a living room. Going out there.
There you go. See, sometimes you got to
I
find
got
your
a
spot.
coloring book. I color.
Wait a minute. You got a coloring book. What kind of coloring book do you have? I
Hold on.
know people who use the coloring book and they therapeutically find themselves in a better place as a result. Is that the same with you? What do you
I
get out?
have I have this coloring book,
Get out of here.
and
Oh, a real
so
coloring
far. Yeah, a real big old box of crayons too, with the
book.
sharpener on the back. Yeah, I want to show you the picture I colored. I'm gonna put these pictures in frames. I
Well,
don't know what's making me want to. Yeah, I just. It's peaceful to me, man. I put my headphones on and I just go ahead in. I color this big old fat mouse.
wow,
And
that's really nice. And the shading and everything else. Did you ever
yeah,
take art?
yeah, I hated art. I didn't want to learn about vanishing points and stuff like that.
Okay, but so in order to blend in everything and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, I can cut hair,
Okay.
so
So you're a barber as
blend.
well.
Yeah, I braid hair too.
Get out of here, really?
Yeah, I
So
had
tell
hair
me.
like this. Yeah,
Yeah, I had an afro back in the day too. So yeah, I know how
yeah,
that goes. Yeah, absolutely. Seemed like the ones of us that had an afro are losing our hair in old age, don't you
yeah. But
think?
everybody can't do this bald head though. See, this bald head, this is special. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you some. I've seen some people with some real lopsided heads trying to do bald
Yeah,
head. They all can't do it. Very few people can, not few, I say there's a certain select group of people that can do the bald head. I like The
yep,
Rock. The Rock does a pretty good bald head. Vin
yeah. He
Diesel does
do.
a pretty good bald head.
Yeah,
But that guy, I
Tyrese
can't
Gibson.
think of his, say again?
Tyrese Gibson.
Yeah, Tyrese Gibson. I actually met him at the Ritz-Carlton. Well, it was it was a
His,
Swiss hotel in Atlanta.
yeah,
Some
yeah.
years ago. Yeah, hung
That's
out
what's
with
up.
him there at the Swiss Hotel. Real good guy. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, Tyrese. But there's one guy, I see his head is just weird because the backside of his head is flat, totally flat. The guy that plays on Guardian of the Galaxy, the big dude, I can't think of his name.
You talking about the wrestler, the
The wrestler,
crazy
yeah,
dude?
yeah,
Yeah, I know you talking about
Claire, somebody. I forgot his name.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, but I see the back of his head. His head just gets smaller and smaller in the back. But that's his signature. That's his signature, and
yeah,
people love it. It looks weird to me because he's bald. I'm
yeah,
sure he had a
yeah,
hair on his head. He
yeah,
looked regular like a regular guy. But it's the
yeah.
weirdest thing. But I like that character. Though. He always plays a strong and cool character. I like people who get to pick their roles and they're trying not to be degrading in their role in life.
Hmm.
Tell me something. You're in a much better mood than the last few days. What happened in your life? Tell me about it. Get you back on
Man,
this hill. Tell us all about
I'm gonna tell you something, man. I am not a person who don't. I was equipped with morals from the time I was a little bitty boy. No matter who I was with or where I was at, somebody was showing me the difference between right and wrong. And I'm not one of them dudes that when I do something wrong, I'm not willing to accept my consequence. I've been accepting my consequence all my life, and today, or the last few days, and they make no exception. Um, I don't like acting up, man. Um, when I drink alcohol, which is not a lot, because I'll get a half a pint of something and I'll have it for 2 weeks because I'm knowing what I'm doing because I know how I want to act. I need
it.
to look at it. Look at life like it's a half pint of a bumpy face. Life is strong like that half pint of bumpy face. You know not to drink it all down. You ain't ate nothing. You're gonna throw up. And I think life is just like that. And so I'm real apologetic and I'm real sorry, man, for my behavior. It's up to me to maintain that. I don't need no one to tell me that. And here these last couple of days, it seems as if I've had to have had somebody to tell me that because I almost didn't know. Um, I'm not stupid. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination. And when I get to use a language, my vernacular is longer than a four-letter adjective. Than anger. I can express myself. I know how to talk. I know how to act. That's why people love me. And I just want to tell y'all again, man, that I apologize, man. And I appreciate you. You've been up all times of the night, man. You act like you my uncle or something. I ain't never met you. Um, I just told you that I would bother you to mess. Man, you had to grab me and choke me like I'm your nephew or something. 'Cause I wouldn't stop. That's endearment. That's me appreciating you and showing you love in that way. Because I don't know, I play like a puppy pit bull.
Well, you got to remember, I'm former special forces. I know how to hold you and choke
That's
you.
what I want.
but I don't think we'll be doing that. When I was younger, I roughhouse it, but I'm older now. I don't do that. But we will take a look at that. I think that's good that you have that attitude, though. That's very good that you can see. You call it a term of endearment. It's really an act of endearment in this particular case because your action does speak louder than your words, and that's okay. How are you and Bobby doing?
Man, and we always working out of honesty, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, straight from the hip, man. Um, we're fine. Um, it's times that I want to leave my wife and want to run from this whole unit because I never had no grandbabies, and I never had no kids, and I never had all the responsibilities that I got now. Um, but I thank God for them. And no matter what she done, you know what I'm saying. I'm never. I'm all. Loyalty has killed me all my life. It has put me in jail. It has got me hurt. You know what I'm saying. But I'm always be loyal to her, and I'm always love her. She just I gotta learn how to handle me, I think, and then I gotta learn how to handle her because she coming off, man, like a razor blade, like a katana sword. She's sharp and she'll slice you and won't think nothing of it. But at the same time, she'll mend your wound.
Could that mean possibly that when she says something straight up, that it's so penetrating and it cuts? Do you evaluate whether it's necessary, or do you evaluate whether it's true, or do you evaluate what in order to feel cut and hurt? Because I think that one of the things I like about you and Bobby is when you're trying to tell your truth, and it may not be the truth for the other person, and that's okay too. But when you're trying to tell your truth, you really try to hurt each other.
Yeah,
And I think that that's not smart. Now, that's dumb. But you don't know it's dumb because you've always had to hurt everybody you talk to because you had to defend yourself your whole life. But now that you got new information, new strategies, new understandings, and new appreciation, that's why you said sometimes I just want to run away from everything. Well, it's harder now because you appreciate things about your life now better than you appreciated your life before. You understand things differently now, but you still have that propensity, that drive to push yourself in another direction every now and then.
yeah,
That is so damn normal in the scale of progress of life. You sometimes take 2 steps forward and a step back, or 3 steps back, and then you just have to keep moving forward so you can
yeah.
keep that forward momentum. I like that. I like it very much. So you guys apologize to one another, I'm sure. How did that go?
It went rough. Because see, like you said, man, change don't happen overnight. And
True.
I still come from where they got cobblestone streets at. And the things that I base my decisions on, my standards, whatever it is that whatever creed that I live by, um, man, that's what she did to me, man. It messed me up, and because like really like try to lock me up, and I ain't did nothing. And
Mhm.
that right there, man, make me look at you 120 different ways. And so I struggle with it. But at the same time, man, I'm not gonna sit here and just keep watching her break down all the dang on time, and I'm just gonna be stone cold like how I think she do with me. No, however she functions, that's what she has to do. She's been doing it 49 years. But how I function, I have to do too. And I had a hard time trying to accept the things that transpired after we got off this video. That don't mean I didn't accept them. because I'm sitting right here. If I was like anybody else, I wouldn't be nowhere near around
Mm-hmm.
because I got to talk to police officers again. And I don't deserve that. I ain't touched nobody. I don't deserve that. And it messed with my mental. Like you can't love me and want to see me behind somebody in somebody's jail or prison again, and I didn't do anything but talk.
Can I say
I'll have a
something? Can I say something about that? I think you need to hear that from another perspective, totally neutral. I get nothing out of this other than my gratification to see you guys better. That's all I get. I get nothing out of this. But you just said something to me early on. You said, I like to roughhouse it, da da da, when I see you, and da 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 da. Okay, you know that's how you are. You know
yeah,
that that's your way of showing love. It's your way of camaraderie, having friendship. Probably one of the most mature things you've ever said is what you just said. I think you have a little out of context, just a little bit. You put it back into context. I mean, you're like Abraham Lincoln writing the Gettysburg Address. I mean, you're a scholar and an author at that moment. You miss one thing, but you did say it, but I think you put it in the wrong perspective. You said that um, you do things a certain way your whole life, and you're you, and you got to be you, and you're loyal to a fault. And the reason you're that way is because that's what Montez had to be his whole life in order to be Montez. That's you. But you don't look at you in the abstract. You don't step out of yourself and look at you and say, that's me. Because you're already you. So you don't ever take the luxury or the opportunity to step outside yourself because the way you project yourself is intimidating to people. Intimidating. You have to notice, listen to somebody who's being very objective with you and clear.
yeah,
You're very intimidating. And because she's your wife, she knows you. She knows your buttons. She knows your hots, your colds. She knows everything. She really does. Y'all been through thick and thin together. Mutt and Jeff, frickin' frack, back and forth. You guys have been that to one another since ride or die, since day one. Am I correct?
yeah,
So she sees you in a light, even though she's a tough chick. I mean, Bobby's no pushover, but love will push you over the edge. It just will. And she loves you. It's totally obvious that she does. It's an obvious kind of love. It's rough, but it's obvious.
yeah,
And you're an intimidating guy. It's not about being tough that she's worried about. It's about the potential of escalation.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, for sure.
when you get upset, you start at 0, and you get to 5 miles per hour, and you're warmed up. As a matter of fact, you're revving up. All you got to do is press that gas or the accelerator, and you're at 60, 90. Boom, just like that with your, 12 barrel engine or whatever you got over there, 16 valve. That's you. You go. And that's the end of that conversation. She knows that that's the case, which prohibits her. It stops her from being herself, from being able to speak to you, because she knows that you're already revving. You hit that gas, you're going to run over. She knows that. That scares people. It really does. It frightens them. I used to be that way. You couldn't get a word in sideways with me. And I had the answer for everything. Was I a narcissist? Probably not. I just was an asshole. Yeah, sometimes we can be just an ass without being a narcissist or an abuser and everything else. And sometimes we can do that as men. And we don't even know we're doing it because that's all we've ever done until we find ourselves and we do something about it, like what you just said at the beginning. And I'm kind of proud that you said that of your own volition. You said this voluntarily about what you had to do to understand your wife and move forward. And then do you ever ask yourself, ask yourself after it's all over? You alluded to it, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. You ever ask yourself when it's all over, was it worth going through all of what you went through just to get to where you wanted to go in the first place? Was it worth it, everything you went through these last few days?
It wasn't worth it.
Good.
And I hate that there's a but it's like a have you ever heard the expression if you stand for something, you fall for anything?
And no, if you don't stand for anything, you fall for anything. Sometimes
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like, man, if I'm feeling a certain way about a certain issue and you don't want to listen and I stop, you ain't heard nothing I said because I
Yeah.
ain't said it.
And for something, yeah, let
I'll
me say it.
fall for anything.
You'll fall for anything. Exactly. I think I think you're worried about the wrong thing in that equation because what you forget is you're the man. There's a role and a set of parameters that was set up a million years ago. You and I ain't got nothing to do with it. We just fell into that male role because we were born men and we chose that lifestyle of a man. And there are certain rules and regulations that exist in the universe, on earth and in culture and in relationships that there's a way a man should act. But if you've been deprived, or if you've been shielded from things that men do because, especially the tender things men are supposed to do, not only to women, but for themselves. But we've been shielded from that for a large portion of our lives. Well, how do we know how to respond in those circumstances where our tenderness, our kindness, our empathy, our listening skills, our understandings, all of those things go into play, but we're in jeopardy when we're in that mode. Why? Why are we in jeopardy? Because we've not lived in that space. We don't understand how to respond. And then it becomes almost egregious. It becomes almost like an attack when somebody says something that's so personal and deep to you to point out a flaw or to point out, I'm scared, or I have to call the police. You see it as why? Because this is how you've been your whole life. And she sees it as, you know, I've always been able to call the police because they have come to my rescue. So those two very different experiences come into play. I don't like anyone to call the police ever. And I try never to put myself in a set of circumstances where the police will ever be called. That's the key. If you never put yourself in a set of circumstances where the police have to be called, because you're stronger than Bobby, I'm sure. You're a quicker thinker sometimes. I watch you just overpower her in
Hey,
conversations. You do that. No, you do it.
no,
But it's okay. But you have to learn to stop at a point, like you said, it wasn't worth it. But that's okay to have a conjunction there. That but, that and, but, and or, it's an or but, and all of those things are normal English language tools that people use to convey their messages. And but is okay, especially if you're battling between, which principle to abide by in that statement. That's normal. There's nothing abnormal about it. It's just that once you say but, if you're canceling out, let's say you say, I apologize, but you did me wrong and I had to cut you. Then you just didn't apologize. You just canceled one out for the other. But if you say, I apologize, but I didn't know you were going to go that far, call the police, and even hurt us more. I think we need to figure out a way to get to somewhere in our relationship where we don't have to do that. That but is perfectly acceptable because you're talking about we now. You're talking about us, not how you hurt me. You're talking about how we hurt ourselves when we do certain things. And
I
people
think I
might
know
not
why.
listen. Go ahead, tell me why.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
No, no,
interrupt you.
no. Knock it out the park. I want you to hit a home run on this one.
But there's a reason why I think my approach, whenever we have issues, I think there's a reason why my approach is like it is, and it's been ingrained in my mental to where I feel like this is how I have to deal with this. You deal with everybody on certain levels. If I know that you can't think as fast as I can, I'm not never going to try to hurry up and get this away because there's going to be no understanding. Okay. And so the reason that I think that I approached her in the way that I do sometimes, and man, I ain't never hurt, man. I know men that have beat, like I've never done that. You know what I'm saying? But the reason that I approach her like I do is because you got to understand, me and Bobby met each other in prison. I had never seen a woman, much less I never had no relationship with no white lady, because you know how, but I never seen no woman had been to prison 6 times. You was look here. You was a white lady, and you look here. You sold all the dope in the city. You got the respect from 20 years ago of everybody in Mansfield, Ohio, and that's a rough place. She can go anywhere. She's spoken like she's royalty. They speak of her like she's royalty. I've never seen no woman on that page and you a white lady. I never seen it. Was amazing to me. It was one of the things that attracted me to because I'm like, look, this is a boss. I've heard about the beatings. I'm talking about that she administered. I heard about the deal. I heard about every single thing. I said, this is a tough girl. I asked you sitting in prison. Then you went to prison and you ran a whole harem. You ran some stuff, man, and you got this type of ability. You a hustle like my mama. You just white. And I'm looking at you like that. So I never, if it's an issue between us, I ain't coming to you soft, man. You know the game. You were OG. I'm not coming at you soft so you
So
can
the
run. You know,
reputation is what you were attracted to.
I,
You like that reputation.
initially, yeah. But see, once I got to, it wasn't just a reputation because the lady knew her way around the ink pen as I did myself. See what I'm saying? And so I could talk to her in ways that I couldn't talk to other women that I tried to talk to in the past because they wasn't able to understand. I wanted to be able to speak free and clear without somebody saying, hey, you think you're smarter than me, like people always say. No, I didn't have to do that where I had to dump nothing down. She understood it. She popped it back. I said, yeah, she's smart. And then I learned who she was. I said, oh, you in the street. You used to be at least. And then I get with her. I watch money fly, good legal money, hustle. From laying up here and doing what you did into the street to turning into something else, getting a real live job. You went from hustling cars to hustling apartments to hustling houses. You catching the cut off of everything from the roof to the foundation. This lady was bad, and she taught me a lot. Okay, so it was everything wrapped up in one, but I never, you making a mistake. If you approach this woman on some soft stuff, guess what's gonna happen? She gonna run it. And in my mind, that's exactly, but see, I know who she is now. And I've seen her break down and cry for nothing. The littlest things, I've seen her be so emotional. And so I got to compare that to what I knew before as opposed to what I know now. And I got to somehow put them in a thing and shake them up, mix them up, blend them up.
You know what that's
Pick it.
called, right? You know what that's called.
I just know about it.
Called life.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
called life. That's how life operates. You know, you just said something powerful. You said, you know, then I see her cry over the littlest thing. That tells you that that rough exterior that you see every now and then, that tough interior that she display often as well, that
The
she
front.
has a soft spot for you because I'm sure she's not the kind of person that whines to anybody. I'm sure she's not the kind of person that puts herself down or diminishes her strength in front of anyone, probably but you. You have to be
Yeah, I think
beholden to
so.
these things. You have to really be beholden. I'm glad you mentioned it. You know what you got. It scares you too. Just like you're an intimidating ass sometimes to her and she needs to call the police. She's an intimidating one to you
Yeah.
because you know she's got the power behind here and her efforts to generate and be all those things that you really admire. And she took a criminal mind and turned it into, you said it, your words, a legal mind. She did. She turned it into a righteous mind. She turned it into an opportunistic mind. She turned it into a leadership mind. You guys did that together. I mean, probably without you, she would have done all those things anyway. But why do anything in life if you have no one with whom to share? Why? Why do anything?
I used to tell in my last relationship, I was engaged like for 4 years to be married to somebody in Wisconsin. I had a whole crib and life. I worked for a hospital. Um,
Mhm.
I was on my way, you know, and I hopped out of prison and I hit the ground rolling. Jobs, bank accounts, everything. Okay. And I wasn't playing because I wanted
You
something.
didn't set up to get right.
Yeah. But I wasn't as invested in the relationship and I did a lot of things I wasn't supposed to do. And one of them, I would, every time that other woman would do something that I didn't like and I thought was kind of stupid or you just wasn't thinking or that wasn't the right move to make on the chessboard, you know what I would tell her? So, bet you Bobby wouldn't have done that. I bet you Bobby wouldn't have done that. And they used to get mad at me. Yeah,
Bad
they
Bobby
said
to
this
her.
woman, she's in the prison and you don't even know her. And I said, yeah. She wouldn't have did that. And I ain't never met her. I
You
met
knew
her
Bobby
mom.
was a weapon then. You knew Bobby
I
was
was
like a
using her as a
weapon
weapon. I was
then.
always loyal. I don't care who I was with. I knew dang on one day I was gonna see her. But right now, this lady's smart, and I ain't never gonna forget who she is. And she got out of prison, and she found me, and I left that woman that came right here, and I meant that. So I
Yeah, and
ain't
I
just
know
up
you
in the
meant
league.
But through maturity and growing more in this relationship, you know that probably that relationship wouldn't have worked for you anyway. If you even have the gumption, if you have the desire to compare one woman to another, that means whomever you're comparing it to, you're not really interested in them. That's just a marker that you, a
Mhm.
benchmark in that relationship that I'm sure you needed to define for yourself. And that's probably why you did it in the first place. Although it was hurtful to the other person, I'm sure. I'm sure it
Yeah,
was hurtful, but we grow past those things. We just do.
yeah.
So one
I'm
of the
not.
things I dig about you guys, and she's further down her path in development than you are, because you've just come into your own over the last since your interpact or interstate pact violation. You've started to had kind of had to start over a little bit, and where she was constantly in that bumping grind and making hers happen, getting those little monikers at the end of her, little suffixes at the end of her name, and
Yep.
becoming more and more of a professional. So sometimes men, when we see a good woman doing great things, and we really want to be out there doing great things and yielding and earning money and being strong. And when a woman, not because she's saying, look what I'm doing, and you ain't crap, not that. But maybe she's like, look what I'm doing it for us. But you may see it as, what are you trying to think you're better than me? You think you're better than I am?
He comes off like that a lot.
You know why? Okay, you do the math with me on this one. Because she is better than you, bro. The person you should be with should be better than you.
Why?
Anything you aspire to have in life should be better than you.
But why she got to be better than me? Why we can't be equal?
Because you'll rise your game to the top and become better than her. And then
That's a
she'll
trick.
rise her game to the top and she'll become better than you. And
That's a
then
trick.
you'll rise yours to the top. And that's how life works. No, remember, I told you there's no such thing as 50-50. There's a 60-40, there's a 49-51, there's a 10-90, but there's no 50-50. It doesn't exist in any relationship you ever have. Someone has to lead the way, especially in the stead of a person who may be failing at something or maybe
Hey,
over at something.
you ever seen the movie The Hunger Games?
The Hunger Games. Let me think.
Yeah,
I know I don't those kind of fantastical movies I don't really watch, but I think I
yeah,
have with the real pretty lady. So it's a pretty lady.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
she shoot people with an arrow or
well,
something.
she was, yeah, yeah. She shot bow and arrows. Well, when in the very beginning, when they were introducing each pledge, they called them pledges. Each
Mhm.
pledge from each sect, they were a team, a boy and a girl, and they marched together and they sued. He didn't step out ahead of her or him. They held hands and marched together, and then they set her on fire and walked. You see what I'm saying? So I don't understand. I've been trained to think that I was a king. I've read texts that told me that I was a king, and so we can be together. We can do this together. I ain't trying to trump you neither, but we can't. You can't
See,
never
this
say you
is
better.
there's something that we just said, both of us. Now let's
Yeah.
put them together. You're the king. That by default makes her the queen.
Mhm.
By default, she's a queen. And I said to you that in relationships, no matter what you have, it's never 50-50. Some
Yeah.
the respect that the king is given. And can you hear me okay?
Yeah. You
Okay,
was
we
stuck
were
for a
breaking
minute.
up for a minute. I apologize. Okay, it says that you never know. Sometimes the internet just does this. Okay. Hmm. Something happened with the internet here. I'm not certain.
The weather not too good here either.
Hey, can you hear me over there? I think we're back just a little bit,
I hear
but
you.
I'm not sure if we're online yet. Okay. Sorry about that. Sometimes the internet just does what it wants to do. I have no idea about this one in this particular case. But we were talking about that parallel and when I got cut off. Uh,
Hmm.
Go ahead and get my app back on. Give me 1 second so people know with whom they're speaking here. And clear this up over here. People now get to see what I do in order to get me set up over here. So we'll just keep talking. But what you've earned, though, and what you're learning, I think they both are learned and earned, is respect for one another. In a very rough exterior kind of way, you had put yourself in a set of circumstances with your wife that you had to earn her respect and she had to earn yours. And when she thinks she's better than you, the best thing you can do to ever help yourself is to make sure she's better than you. Your job in life is to make sure that your partner in life gets it all, do it all, learn it all, understand it all, especially if she's doing it for you both. And her job in life is for you to get it all, for you to be uplifted, for you to be the man, for you to be the king, for her to be the queen, and demand respect from one another, not just you to her, but she to you. Demand uh, co-counsel, co-understandings, collective thought. You have to demand that in a relationship. And very few women that I've come across in my life can automatically do that. Be that ride or die with courage. Bobby's one of them. A lot of women can't do it until they're taught. And it's not because they're inept or bad or not good enough. It's because they haven't been familiar with that role. And sometimes it takes a man to help them become familiar with that. Or another woman, her friend said, girl, you're doing it the wrong way with your husband. If I were you, I would do X, Y, and Z and quit the crap that you're doing. We don't know where that environment or that person or that influence come from, but we do know it. Sometimes people can't do it. You have a woman that just automatically does it. You do. She automatically just does it. And that's it. End of the conversation. That's intimidating to some men. Why? Because you never had that. You never had it. You even told your last fiance, Bobby wouldn't do that. That's what you said. I mean, you
Right.
went that far. I mean, I wouldn't have gone there, but you went there. You get it? You
I have my
needed
own
somebody.
money.
There you go. But not just about money. It was also about character. For
Yeah.
whatever morals, whatever system of understanding and allegiance you had back then when you were with your ex, whatever, you've changed from that. Now you see that when you said Bobby wouldn't do it, that you're actually vindicating yourself. You're saying, I was right. Bobby wouldn't have done that. And that's why I'm with her. I wanted a woman that I didn't have to say to her, don't do that. Don't, Bobby wouldn't have done it. You would, that's what you wanted. So in a roundabout, kind of nasty and kind of rude and mean way, you made it clear that Bobby wouldn't do that. You were showing appreciation for Bobby way back in the day before you even with her, before you were even with her. That's a hell of a statement to make. Most people can't see that far in the future, but you saw it. You said, this is what I've been missing. White, black, blue, it don't matter her color. This is what I've been missing. And that's all that matters, bro. And I'm proud that you said that in that rough exterior and interior kind of way. But it's okay because you're honing yourself. You're getting better in our relationship. You and me in therapy, you're getting better. I'm sometimes better than you. Sometimes you're better of yourself than me. That's not a problem. That's good. I don't look at it as when you said to me, it was ridiculous that you said it, but it's okay. that it was said. You said, now I'm the therapist. Now let me tell you. And I wanted to hear what the hell you had to say.
I
But
don't know.
you have to be in a place where you can listen. I was in a place to listen to you. You stopped talking and went to something else, but I was there to listen to you. Why? Because I don't take it as intimidation. I take it as, okay, I want to hear this. And if you're in a relationship with anyone, you have to be in that mode of, I want to hear it because this is my wife saying it. This is my therapist saying it. This is my patient saying it. This is my person saying it. Whatever that role that they're playing should be important to you, and what they have to say should be just as important, even if it's relevant or not. It has to be important because once they voice it, and then you respond to it by holding it up and propping it and making sure it has strength underneath it. And you keep it in that place so that person can have themselves heard and understood. And so when you let it down gently so it can stand on its own. That's all you were doing. That's all you just did by praising your wife. Nothing wrong with that, bro. Real men do real things. I've lived by that model my entire life. Real men do real things, period to end. And that was a real man gesture, a real man statement, a real man understanding that you just conveyed. All you need to do is learn how to be tender with it. That's all. Just add some more tenderness to it, and you have her eaten out of your arm, because you hold your woman. You don't say out of your hands, but maybe you would have her eaten out of your hands. Because every now and then you put that grape in there, you put that piece of pizza in there, hey, baby, take a bite of this. You know, that lovey-dovey stuff that people do. That's okay too. Men have to learn to be more tender and less threatened by a woman's strength. It's okay for a woman to be smart. It's okay for her to be better at you at what she does. It's okay. It's normal. Men who appreciate that in women, the police never show up at their door. Not ever. Because she's a badass. That's why you married her. Because she's a badass. Not because she's sorry and punkish and weak. And she is the Bobby that you said back in the day. Bobby wouldn't do that. She's that Bobby. You brought that home like a home run, champ. You're an athlete. You know you just slammed it. So tell me, when you get upset with your wife or she gets upset with you, do you ever think to put on the brakes?
I do. I put the brakes on, but she just like me. She ain't gonna stop neither.
No, I don't mean put a brakes on that. I mean put a brake on you. It ain't about
Yeah,
her stopping you.
I do. I got headphones. I love my headphones, and I got a choice select few songs that I like to listen to that pulls me through. I like to listen to Simple Man or Leonard Skinner.
Okay.
Um, I like to listen to the Steel Horse I Ride, 70 soft rock, Let's Do It Again, Staple Singers, stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. This Betty Wright, No Pain, No Gain, and it pulled me back. She get mad. I put the headphones on. That mean I ain't trying to hear nothing nobody saying because I'm falling down now, and this is what's picking me up.
It's okay to have that space, bro. I think that that's important that you have a way to go somewhere where it doesn't require that you stress yourself or hurt yourself or further worsen or exacerbate that circumstance. I think that's smart. However, the one key to doing that and getting away with it and making sure it's healthy is you do it out of respect. I think when you do it, when she knows that you're respectfully declining from being in a circumstance where you need to be at 0 to 60 or whatever that case may be, when she sees that and she knows that, then she should respect that and allow you to have your space. So when you come, we're going to go there with Bobby too. Right now I'm with you. So forget about what she does or doesn't do.
I ain't say
Forget that.
nothing. I ain't
Yeah,
say nothing.
I saw it on your face. I know where you're going, but it's about you now. Bobby, I will talk with her about this in the next conversation we have. You can't interrupt me when I do it because it'll be with you. But I will bring that up because respect is everything in a relationship. When you say some nasty things on air or in private or whatever, I know you don't mean them. You're saying them out of anger. You're saying them out of emotional stress. You're saying them because they hurt her more than she just hurt you. You get
Oh
it?
yeah, you need that
None
lick.
of that, none of that look, that lick has done nothing for anyone since the history of time. That lick will never do anything for you. And once you, and I think you get it, you just still like getting that lick in every day. But once you stop or you cessate that kind of activity in your relationship tends to grow on its own. It can blossom now without the threat of external aggression or internal aggression. Because what happens, you know, and I want to back that statement up for a minute. And there's a philosophy behind it. It says that anything in life, any country, any person, any relationship you ever have in life, if it does not have some kind of threat against it, that relationship will fail. When you're in a relationship, you're fighting to be together, even though you're talking about being apart. That's why you're arguing, because it's important to you to be together. And you're uncomfortable with this, and she's uncomfortable with that. And you're going to clash here and clash there and fight here and bite and kick and claw and bitch and mother and whatever. You're going to do all that. That's what people do. But they're fighting for each other, but they don't see it. So they need that threat of the external thing, like what's pressing against your relationship. We got to get our stuff together so we can pay our bills. We have to get ourselves together so we can live harmoniously. We got to take care of our kids. We got to, finish our education. We got to improve our career. So there's always a threat of something encroaching on you that some you need and some you don't. I'm in a bad neighborhood. I want to be in a better neighborhood. Whatever that, I need a new car because it's falling apart. Not because I just want it shiny, especially when you have a whole lot of other new things, or things in your life to worry about. But that's what we're saying here. I mean, you grow with that. Bobby at one time, what went on in her life didn't concern you much because she was a badass and she got it done. But now that your life is intertwined with her life and you're inextricably, inextricably linked right now. And it's hard to pull you guys apart. Even when you're mad, you're like this. You're still together until you get right back like this. That, to me, says that you're trying. But it's rough. Montez, you are not
Yes,
easy. You are not easy. And you know it.
I wouldn't be
There's,
worth shit if I was easy.
yeah, but you would be if you're easier with your wife. If you're easier with your kids. You're easier with, do you ever stand up in church and say, everybody, how are you? I'm Montez, and I'm in norm therapy. Come see me. Come see who I really am.
I'm running from all introductions. I like to be way in the back in the corner. Can't nobody see me.
Okay. So what does that tell the world when you say that? What are you saying? If I told you I like to stay in the back in the cut and just chill and not be seen, what am I telling you?
I'm trying to see everybody. I don't want you to see me.
The why. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I think it's a form of protection, honestly. I think it's me protecting myself. I put my back on the wall. That's metaphorical. It's almost symbolic. I'm
So
my
if you're
back
in
over there.
church, you're in
Yeah.
church, a place of worship, a place of healing, a place of getting new information, understanding parables and wisdom in the Bible, and all of this. You don't want to be seen there. And I'm thinking that should be the place where a personality like yours,
Yeah. I've had
brave
people
enough to
pull
do
guns on
anything.
me at church.
Second,
I've had people pull guns on me at church. I bought cocaine at church. I don't trust them.
so have I. Believe it or not,
I
not the
believe
cocaine
you.
part, but back in the day, you know how it is in Chicago.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about something different now. But since we're at 12 minutes before we close out, the audience are hating my guts. I need to go back in here. The audience hating my guts because I don't get a chance to answer all of their or ask all of their questions. People are very interested in you. They're very interested in what's going to happen to you today. And that's a good thing to have around your life. I think if you stood up in church, because that's where you like to go to find yourself and
Go
just
to
to
church
be,
every week.
yeah, I think you should stand up one day and say who you are. You don't have to say I'm in norm therapy, but you have to say who you are. And you have to stand for like you said, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. So you got to stand for something, bro. And standing is you. You have to stand up physically and mentally, and say your piece. Be you, be accepted in the very community you're receiving solace and wisdom and camaraderie and family and just togetherness. And sometimes we need that as humans. It's okay. It's okay. But all of the, let me go back here. All the talk we've done about where you are in your marriage and all of that, and I've been presumptuous in a lot of ways. And I don't want to be presumptuous. I'd rather be accurate. So I'll ask you this. Okay, you can raise that eyebrow if you like. I'll raise it right back at you. But tell me, in your own definition, what does marriage mean to you?
Why you ask me that, man?
Because men do men stuff. That's a manly thing to do. I ask you that question. What does it mean to you? What does marriage mean to you?
I don't mean to answer a question with a question, but I got a question before I can answer that.
See the but? I have a question. That means you don't want to answer it.
No, I'm going to answer it because it's something that I have to approach. Just when I defined the man when I was just 23 years old and set that for myself, I have to find that too.
Ask me the question.
How do you know? Like, man, I've been thugging. I ain't know. How do you know?
Bro, I told you that 10 minutes ago. You've been thugging. You missed out. That's why it's okay for you to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere with defining what it means to you. And then you have to concretize, make concrete in your life the better parts of what you say. So tell me, what does marriage mean to you?
What happens when that definition isn't something that you can describe with words? What if it's just a feeling that you know it means something? What if it comes to you in that way?
Then all you do is, because you're the author of your feelings, you're the author of your definition, you're the author of your what marriage means to me. All you do is modify it. It's okay to feel good about something, but if you can't articulate that the way you feel, I'll help you. Because you said, I was thugging. Yeah, I know exactly. I remember the first time a gun was put in my face. I was what, 12? So I'm going to tell you, at the end of the day, so you understand, I get it. I was thugging too for a while, especially when my mother and father divorced. So at the end of the day, I had to learn, what does life mean to me? What does a friendship mean to me? How am I supposed to respond when I sit at a table? Luckily, my mother and father taught me how to eat, so I could put my fork down, pick this one up, work from the outside in. I learned all that until they got divorced. Then I started eating like a heathen. And women would look at me and go, man, you just kind of wolfing that down instead of enjoying your meal. And so I had to learn the small things. So tell me what marriage means to you.
I think it depends on me, on my survival. I ain't come playing with nobody, talking about some I love you and all that. I ain't had to tell nobody I love you. But I did. And I did because I was serious about that. And I learned how to be serious about that when my mama left. So I'm not playing with you about it neither. You see what I'm saying? So it means, huh?
What does marriage mean to you? No, I won't let up. So let's just go there. Come on.
No, I'm definitely finna try to answer it. It means that I survived, man. It means that that I understand life. Like, you got a partner. The partner is y'all supposed to help each other all the way through life to understand it. And so understanding is on the line. A sense of freedom, a certain kind of freedom that you don't get from being released from a jail, or you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you're in matrimony with somebody, it's a form of freedom. Maybe you don't want to pretend. Maybe you don't want to have to pretend to be this player or this such and such type of person no more in terms of relationships. Maybe you don't want to pretend to do that no more.
Sensitivity, having sensitivities in your life?
Everything, whatever. But it means a lot when you get somebody, man, and you tell them, hey, man, I want to die with you. That to me, that's a little deep. I'm not playing with nobody.
It's not a little deep. That's a lot deep. I want to die with you. That's one of the strongest statements you could ever make about love. Remember Shakespeare? Shakespeare, whenever he used the word die, in most of his plays, it meant love, to surrender into that death. So, but hopefully we're not talking literally, we're gonna die together, but
No, I mean
and that
literally.
yeah, but let's back off from that just a little bit. And this is important because a marriage is a team. It's not one person, it's a team. It's collective. It's smart. It's smarter than you all by yourself. Or at least should be the goal of it. Your marriage itself should be smarter than you, better than you. It should be what you strive to make better every day. You need to be something you don't like. And here it comes. You need to learn to be vulnerable around the people you trust.
Vulnerable.
That starts with vulnerable. Your vulnerability, you need to be able to I saw you cry in front of your wife, bro, on this video. I got it on tape. That
I'll
was
do it
being
right now.
vulnerable, bro. And that's okay. But what I'm trying to tell you is that's being vulnerable. And that's okay because you're sharing your most intimate self with somebody you care about. And not, you don't really care about me like that, but you do care about your relation enough that those tears flow. And that is important. That's very important. And you know that that's where you can go. But I sometimes think you feel guilty because you cried over it and you don't like feeling weak. You don't like
No,
being
you
vulnerable.
ready to fight.
I know. And that causes, that same vulnerability to be your enemy at times. So what you have to realize, it's normal to shed a tear for somebody you care for. It's normal to be frustrated that you're not getting the outcomes that you want in your relationship. And all that really means is you have to keep working at it, forgiving each other, but not forgetting the same turmoil that you just went through, bro. You don't have to do it again. You don't have to keep doing the same things over and over, yielding the same results. You can get different results. And that's what I think your marriage is about. It's about us trying what we can at different intervals in our relationship and trying to make sure that together we're okay and not just me, Montez, or not just me, Bobby. This isn't marriage counseling. This is just life, how life operates. Every man wants a woman like you want. The strong woman who takes care of business, who's serious about things, who you can laugh with, who you can go have fun with, who you can love her to death and she'll love you back. Every man wants that. What man I know in the world out there that don't want that? Whether he can admit it or understand that's what he needs or want, every man wants that. But every woman wants a man that respects her.
Yeah.
Every woman wants a man that that teaches her and that she can actually teach him something as well. Every woman wants somebody that listens to her. Even if we don't understand where they're coming from, bro, listen. Just listen, hear it. Make sure they know you heard it. Respond to it. Not because they're whipping you into shape, but because that's how you understand people and that's how you get along, by understanding one another.
Yeah.
I'll ask you one more question. The audience are going to be mad at me because I got 3 minutes left. Yeah, people want to know, what did you actually read to make you feel that you were king? I think I know, but I want you to answer. What to make you?
Well, I used to read. First of all, I grew up a Baptist. Um,
Mhm.
in the state of Indiana. Everybody coming from the South, so you know what that do. But I know the Bible. First of all, the Bible says that I am a God and I will die like a mortal man.
Of course it does.
First, that's what the
Amen.
Bible say. But aside from that, I feel like when I was in prison and I was on it, man, you got to understand that when I was in prison, it wasn't always about me gang banging or getting in trouble or getting into it with female guards, relationships and stuff like that. I was looking for something, and man, I was pretty dang on smart. Um, somebody told me that I didn't know what it was to be a man, and I sat there and I made a definition for myself, and then I walked by it. Um, but as far as the question goes, man, I lost my train of thought.
Being a king. Then we have
Yeah,
to
the
go. We only
Bible.
have to
I
go.
used to I used to listen. I used to read the text from Noble Drew Ali, Circle Seven, um, sect of Muslims. Um, I read Confucius. I read excerpts from Genghis Khan. These people thought of themselves as kings, and then they acted like it. And if I can think that way, I can act like
Well, every man in every marriage should be a king. I do believe that. but I also think that he needs to recognize with respect that his wife is a queen.
Yeah.
And
That
I think
the first rule of the
I think
kingdom.
in that context, exactly. I think in that context, that's true. We'll talk more about that in our next session. I really enjoyed this one with you, Montez. You got through it unscathed. I'm loving it. This is pretty well, a little bit
I'm
scary.
wrestling with you next time.
Good. And that's okay. Wrestling is okay. But I need to say what I need to say here is to make sure we get this out. If you've enjoyed and got something out of today's session, as I normally tell you, please write something down, respond. Make sure you show your support by sharing this video, subscribing to our channel, and of course, liking it. Our next Norm Theory sessions will be with Montez and Bobby this Sunday, March 17th at 6 p.m. Please go to goarrow.org and normtherapy.com to explore our services. And if there's someone needing our services, please let them know and send them to us. If you're interested in applying to participate in our live streams, as well as victim or survivor, or looking for sessions, or even training to become a Norm Therapy, please reach us at contact@normtherapy.com or opt in at normtherapy.com. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. Listen, Montez, I enjoyed our session tonight. Once your heart goes in the right place, your mind normally in tandem would follow it and work together. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. Stay strong, listen to your wife, but more importantly, listen to yourself. And listen to yourself, and you'll know where things fit if you pay attention to you. And I think that's very good. Anything you want to close us with? Thank you very much. Say hello to Bobby and everyone for me, and hope you have a good couple of days.
I'm going to the basketball court. I'm finna dunk.